Got a bug in my mouth, even with this windshield here.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
everybody.
this isn't... There's no glass here. This is 100%, like... This is just air. I can just reach right through this. Sorry, I should have told you.
That's all right. Well, everybody, welcome to an on-location episode of VFX and Chill. We are out to do some exciting archaeology today. Archaeology.
That's the
AE
correct
built
pronunciation. Finally, somebody gets it right.
Built right into the middle. That's how you remember how to spell that word. But welcome to VFX and Chill, the show where Seth and I take a look at trying to recreate visual effects from our favorite movies, and today, video games as well. Seth, how are you doing? How's the ride?
The ride's great. It's a little bumpy, and I'm noticing some weird artifacts, and there's like a weird thing that happens with the trees, like, where just out of nowhere it just kind of becomes... I feel like we're going in circles, to be quite honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I can't tell if we're making progress or not, but the field guide assured me that that we're going in the right direction.
What's that field guide you have? What's the name of the field guide? Where did you get it?
It is called the Audubon Field Guide to North American Birds.
Hashi, that's the Cinnabon Field Guide to North American Birds.
I was wondering why it was so brief and had so many mentions of frosting.
And no birds.
Welcome, everybody, from around the world to enjoy us driving around the world. I do feel like we are going in circles.
What if this is all we did on the show? We just, like, made really stupid jokes and drove around these trails in this video game. Hey, what is this from? I know this look. Hashi, you know this look. You're very familiar with this property, correct?
Very familiar with this property. My favorite, big gamer, gamer of the video games, me. This is from the movie, the cartography game.
Yes, it's all about cartography.
Map making.
Map making. Who's that? Hey, whoa, who is that? Hey!
Sorry, drive up. Hi, everyone.
Michael, how you doing?
Michael.
So crazy to see you.
I'm great. Just living out here in the bush, having a grand old time.
You live out here?
Well, not just out here, but on this vehicle, as my shirt says. Life rocks when your home rolls.
Hands on the bars, man. Come on.
Sorry. I know it's a safety third.
You're not wearing your helmet, but you are wearing headphones. And I think in this country, wherever we are, that qualifies,
my ears.
Right?
Gotta keep those safe. It's my bread and butter. It's my ears.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like a helicopter. Like, we can't really hear each other speak if we're not, with all these sounds of the
engine's
savannah.
Very loud. Good thing we have RTX sound canceling on our microphones, or y'all would just hear the noise of this motorcycle and this hackneyed Jeep.
And Hashi's screaming. He's just been screaming nonstop for the past 2 hours.
Anyway, Uncharted is the answer to that joke we were making earlier.
Oh, Uncharted! Yes. We are throwing our charts out today and covering we're talking about Uncharted because, one, we do love the game franchise, but also, I don't know if you guys know, but there is a little feature film happening in theaters near you next week, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. That sounds lovely.
And it's starring a very good friend of ours.
A friend of the show, huh?
Friend of the show.
Well, yeah,
yes.
We've had him on before and had some issues, but I think you want to go ahead and bring him out? We were gonna prepare a whole thing.
Let's do that.
Let's go
everybody,
pick up our
from
guests.
the upcoming Uncharted movie.
Please welcome our friend Tom Holland. Tom, welcome to VFX and Chill. Look at that logo. You got a mug.
Did
one of our mugs.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It's good to see you.
And we did the sound check ahead of time, so don't worry, guys. We'll be able to hear Tom this time.
Every time he speaks, we'll hear everything he says.
Everything he says. So, Tom, tell us, what was it like working on Uncharted? People think that you are somewhat young for the role. I'm curious what your thoughts were as you approached it.
I mean, he just looks. You just look young, Tom. It's not that we're saying that you aren't like mature enough to act in a big film.
You look like you could have descended from one of the famous explorers, Sir Francis Drake. Is that right?
That's right. Hashi, you've been reading some Wikipedia since we last talked. You've been reading a whole bunch of Wikipedia, haven't you?
I've been watching a whole lot of 10-minute everything you need to know about Uncharted videos, and I tell you,
Yeah, man. So sorry, Tom. Sorry, we got carried away. How do you feel about Mark Wahlberg's mustache? That it's missing. It's not in the film. He is extremely young. Like, can you tell?
I was really surprised when you told me who he was supposed to play, Seth, because I wasn't familiar with the character.
Oh yeah, he plays Sully.
They just
Sully, the older man character, like the crotchety like mentor figure, who has gray hair and a mustache, and they're like first thought.
Well,
Mark
to be
Wahlberg.
fair, the age difference between Tom and Mark Wahlberg fits. You just got to shift everything.
Yeah.
So it would be like Uncharted. Is 3 the one that flashes back to them as children-ish? Or something.
Well, 4 flashes back to him and his brother Sam. Isn't that right, Tom? Yeah, he said back to his brother Sam. He and Sam, they have a couple flashbacks in that, because that's all about the two of them. Are there flashbacks?
Tom's been told to stick to the talking points. He's gotten in trouble for this before, and so I think he's being a little bit tight-lipped about stuff.
That's okay, but we actually have another special guest that is not a joke. We're actually very, very excited for this one. Who can tell us all about Mark Wahlberg's mustache. Please welcome our friend, Mark Wahlberg. Mark?
Yeah, we made the movie Uncharted. Obviously, it's beloved. Over 40 million video games sold, and the character
Amazing,
Sully is quite
stat.
iconic, and his look with the mustache. In the beginning of the movie, I don't have the mustache, and I kind of transition into what people know from the game as Sully with the stash. So I wore the mustache at the end of the film, and then I wore it for another film, and then I was like, you know what, I want to remind people that I was the Sully. And then also, my sister and my brothers think I look so much like my dad
great,
with
Mark.
the mustache.
We're out of time. Sorry.
You don't need to. That's too much.
Wow, he was very passionate about telling us about his mustache. He wore it in another film and wanted people to remind people that he was Sully. So he's actually carrying the marketing for Uncharted into other films, it sounds like. Is that right, Tom?
It's the way they do it these days, I guess. I don't know.
Crossovers are important.
Yeah. Tom, one last question before, I know you're on a press junket right now, we'll let you go, but how many charts, in fact, are in this film?
Oh, that's a good question.
None. We'll interpret that to be...
He's just going to drink from his VFX and Chill mug and just wander off.
All right, here. Hey, let's drop you back off at the press center so you can... Michael, you can handle this first a few... Oh, bye! Oh, he ran off. He just ran. Okay. Well...
The guy's limber.
So... Hosh, what do you want to do today? Bye, Michael. You'll be back. What do you want to... We can still hear you from far away. What do you want to do today?
So I had to learn all about Uncharted from the trailer for this movie, which was my first introduction into the entire world of Uncharted. And as far as I can tell, it's your exciting action-adventure, jungle, Leanna Jones, Tomb Raider-y world of... exploring the great undiscovered world, as the title might indicate.
Let's take a look at that trailer real quick. Oh, wow. This is not what I expected.
Oh, that's very cool. I think they filmed a lot of this on location.
Where?
I didn't know Chris Pratt was in this.
Oh, Chris Pratt's in everything.
So
Chris Pratt is all of us. All right, so Tom plays that dinosaur. No, there's Tom Holland. There he is.
The little dinosaur.
The little one. Little guy.
There he is. And with Mark
mocap
Wahlberg.
work extraordinary for this. The behind the scenes, once they come out of embargo, are really a sight.
Yeah, really a sight. So, oh, wow, look at that cool... okay, enough of this. That cool Universal made out of butter. Let's talk about Uncharted. Yeah, so your familiarity with this is from the trailer for the film, right?
Yeah, so this was clearly the most exciting Fast and Furious.
That's such a good pratfall
from the trailer. Look at that.
It's so good.
That's a Holland fall.
A Holland fall.
Here's the thing. When I first saw this trailer, I was like a lot of people. I was like, this is not similar to the game. I would have preferred a David O. Russell. Like there was a time when it was a David O. Russell. He was attached to it with Bradley Cooper, and that could have been cool. But the more I love Ruben Fleischer, and who's the director who ended up directing this, and I am looking at this trailer, and I'm like, you know what? These action sequences are so outlandish, and they are actually very similar in tone and scale to the game. So I'm genuinely excited. Like, snark aside, I'm just speaking as a fan. a huge fan of Uncharted. I'm actually very excited for this movie, and I think this whole gag with the car and the crates and falling is really, really cool. I think it's so cool. In fact, Hashi, we should try to do this on the show.
I think that sounds great. I have chartered a cargo plane,
and I have unchartered it. Michael, that should have been your joke.
Well done.
I'll see myself
where's our dad joke groan drop?
Oh, it's right here. There's Michael. Oh wait, no, sorry, wrong button. It's right here. Oh, damn it. There we go. Let's try it one more time. I'll come back to it next time. That'll be more.
Next time. Beautiful. So you want to attempt this multi-million-dollar flying out of a jet shot?
Yeah, well, I don't see the problem at all.
Sam from the chat is asking, do you think the fall is a digital double? I think it is a stunt until we cut to that scene where he's falling. And
okay, real time.
Not real time. I would say real time. Real time. Not real time.
That's real time.
Well, maybe. No, I mean, that...
It looks enhanced to me. I think that he filmed this action, and he would believe that he performed that bit, but I think that he's digital already.
I think his face might not be real. But his head might be real. His body's digital.
That body.
All of him goes digital right there.
The way the elbow creases happen right there.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool, and seamless. I mean, it's amazing that you can do a blend like this right in front of the camera.
So fun. Like, I think his head is practical there, and then when he goes back right there, when his arm goes in front, I'd say that's probably a transition to digidouble. And then that's obvious. Now, I have from the first trailer, they actually played this out as like one really awesome single shot.
Wow.
I love this. I think it's so fun.
Look at that. So we zoom past him. Wow. That is this is like Free Guy-esque is what I call like this.
Yeah.
Video game inspired hyper-realism.
I want to do this. I kind of want to have falling person. I'm going to do this today on the show. I'm going to do free falling me. I've got that model that you made of me a while back. And
that sounds phenomenal.
You're usually the Mixamo 3D guy, but I kind of want to try and actually do it today. So this is what I'm going to do.
That sounds good. Well, let's do it. I'd be happy to talk real quick about the process of making our Digi-Seth.
Just so the audience knows, are you going to do some crates today, or what are you going to do?
I like this moment too. I love that Tom Holland is having to struggle with crates and things flying out and trying to avoid them. And I was thinking that maybe if you're going to be falling out of a plane, I can inspire why you are falling out of this plane. You're
accomplishing everyone's dream today. Is how can we motivate Seth falling out of this plane?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing with some ragdoll physics created by Rocket Lasso and applied to the Seth Worley Mixamo special. And Seth is going to be doing some distinct shot work to try to recreate this insane moment.
Yeah, so you want to just jump right in?
Let's jump right in.
Fall right in, if you will.
All right in.
I mean, you say jump right in, but it's for 15 minutes into the
show. Well,
amazing.
I mean, for some shows, that's good. That's fast. Hashi, talk to me about making the Digidouble. I think some people might be curious how you did it.
Absolutely. So there is this wonderful little site, and let me just pull it up off screen and make sure that I have it all
Mixamo
set up properly. Let's see. I'm going to open up both of these. Mixamo, powered by Adobe.
I've got Mixamo set up on my side if you want to. Oh, I did log in. Come on. Give me a sec.
Log in.
If you're interested in the ragdoll process, you can check out Rocket Lasso's YouTube channel for that.
Absolutely. He did a really wonderful explanation of everything at was it for NAB last year? The 3D motion show? I can't remember. He talks about extensively about this process.
If he did on 3D motion show, then it'd be on Maxon's YouTube channel then.
Excellent. Well, check that out.
Well, so, Blake, Hashi is about to cover that exact topic.
All right. So we wanted a digital double of Seth, and what I ended up using for that was this very simple website called avatarsdk.com. And they have this, you can sign up for a free account, and then you can basically use this web-based interface to upload an image of somebody or use one of their pre-selected models and generate different types of 3D figures out of those. So let me open up one of the results of this process. Let's see, we got, where did I put you, Seth?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Let's see, when did I create a digital double of you? Probably around the 13th of August last year, right?
It was our Free Guy episode, wasn't it? It was when we when you were going to hit me with a car.
Oh, yes. I'm so kind to you.
Oh, man, of course.
All right. So feeding that exciting program some images
forgot about this.
Can result in these phenomenal models that we have here.
Here I'm seeing played by Ben Whishaw, voice of Paddington, star of many James Bond films.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. So they come in a slightly generic model, I guess, that they get applied to. And then you can do some exciting things with them. I didn't know about soft selection at the time, but so I was using a lot of mesh brush to do stuff like coif the hair up and stuff like that, because that is a very important feature of a whirly if you're going to portray them digitally. But now that I know better, I would have just gone to point selection mode, grabbed something like this, and then, let me scooch it on over here, enable the soft selection tool like that, because this would allow you to grab, and you can kind of see it visualized here, just a nice
sculpt my hair
section of hair. Like, look at this.
Nice.
You can Jimmy Neutron you up, or
I'm at Jimmy Neutron point right now. That's why I'm wearing a hat, because my hair is significantly
love
long.
And who's I'm a Martin Short's character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Michael doesn't even know who that is.
I don't.
Wait. Oh, I've done something horrible back here.
I love how at grayscale, any model of me at grayscale looks like Egon Spangler, and I'm completely comfortable with that.
It is. In fact, we could just tint this thing blue and do some spoiler alerts for Afterlife.
Spoiler alerts for the Afterlife. When you die, this will have been spoiled for you.
Yes. Let's see. And I believe, Seth, that the body that we are using for you today, wow, I like
jacked.
That aspect ratio. Let's
I have me up here right here. This model you made of me, like I showed it to my son, and the first thing he said was, "You're jacked. Like this is is the most fit version of me that's ever existed."
It's really just because you wear too loose of clothing, Seth. I think that if you were to,
it's true. I'm actually I'm actually two children stacked on top of each other underneath these clothes, walking around.
That is understandable.
So you know that the chat is loving Seth's hair in this.
Excellent.
Who doesn't?
It's the whirly wave.
The whirly wave. The whirly swoop. The whirly wave is actually better for alliteration. I've heard it referred to as the swoop as well. The most important part here of
that's only for folks who call you swirly.
Nope. We're not in middle school, and you aren't bullies, so I'm fine with it.
Seth, I was almost sure that you were your outfit came from one of these Mixamo characters.
I love that sauntering. I'm too jacked to put my arms down. Walk.
Yeah, you said arm space huge.
I'm gonna have you walk in place, and we'll give it a little. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I can't.
Spider-Man angle.
I can't hold my arms straight down nor shoot a basket. I'm so jacked.
I mean, you can tell by the way
I walk. I'm a ladies' man. And I do not have time to talk. That's the opposite of the show.
No, I don't have time to iron your shirt either.
I love
I
how
was almost
silent we
positive you
fell.
came from your body came from Mixamo, but I'm not seeing whose outfit we stole.
Well,
but, in either case,
you had to have recolored it? You had to have recolored it because it looks exactly like my Whelm Yourself outfit, which
it does look like the Whelm Yourself
fun
outfit.
fact was inspired by the wardrobe of design of stylings of Scott Aukerman on the Comedy Bang Bang TV show, which I just so happened to be drinking from my Comedy Bang Bang mug today. Shout out to Scott Aukerman, who definitely watches this.
Absolutely. Thanks, Scott. Friend of the show.
Scott.
So, in either case, we were able to get this. Maybe it was a make human model. I don't know. I do know that we were trying to match the Whelm Yourself outfit, and I did have to do some texture recoloring. But this is basically me just deleting the old head and jamming Seth's head right onto this model, and then exporting an FBX that Seth could upload to Mixamo. So is that what you've done over there, Seth?
Yeah, so I uploaded myself to Mixamo, and obviously the first thing people do is they find the dance
Gangnam
moves.
Style, yeah.
And they mess around with it. So here's me in my natural resting state.
Lovely.
Fun fact, I
Thriller.
did
Nice.
this exact dance in a high school play once. So this site actually did exist at one point. But yeah, so I took this and I found this specific... I typed in falling and I found this, which is fun.
Well, it's like a skydive.
Hey, it's a dude falling.
I meant to fall skydive pose.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And what I love is it has a slider that says flail.
Oh,
so
nice.
I turned that up and oh no.
Whoa.
Oh, see, now you don't look like you mean to fall. Yeah.
And body angle, I found if I put it like this, it gave me kind of I feel like the body angle is like adjusting his legs, but maybe not.
It's adjusting his
posture, right?
Torso, yeah. So the whole thing changes.
I set it at this angle because it kind of flattened his body the most and made it most neutral because I'm going to have him just flipping around everywhere.
Well, we could refer to the live action footage if we were going to
I forgot we had
do something like this. This is you last week.
Yes.
You haven't aged a day since last week.
I haven't. This is me wearing my Stu Maschwitz mask or beard.
Yes, I like the Battle Royale shirt you have inspired by our last show.
Oh, is this going to be a digital effect or a practical effect?
So we were filming a friend of mine jump off this cliff for a series we were making. And then we had just gone to Hawaii to shoot. This is in Tennessee, but we had shot the bulk of this like web series we made it's called Adventure Now. Shot the bulk of it in Hawaii. And then while in Hawaii, we did all this fun stuff like, don't play it yet. Oh, there it is. Oh. We did all this fun stuff like swinging off these like ropes into rivers and the ocean and things. And I never do that kind of stuff. But on this trip, I was like, I'm going to live forever. And I did it. And so getting back to Tennessee, we went out to shoot this stunt we didn't get to shoot in Hawaii. And I was like, I'm going to jump off this, because I am going to live forever. And this is the last time I did anything like this because I didn't estimate that my life would flash before my eyes jumping off of this thing. And I would
didn't need
face
glasses
plant
before
into
you
the water.
hit the water.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. Let's see.
Thought about it for a second.
Boom. Hey, that's
Nice.
Pretty impressive, Seth. And let's see. So for some live action flail reference, actually, I think you have nailed it.
It was a little more like this.
Okay, there we go. So reference. Real life reference is phenomenal, and I do admire that we actually do have that of the Seth Worley.
So I got this, I downloaded it, and I brought it into Cinema, and I have that somewhere. Why don't I open that?
Yeah, why not, Seth?
Well, I'll tell you why not. I don't know. Unable to open file. Let me find it.
In the meantime, I'm going to show y'all. I want to start throwing things at Seth in the back of a plane. And I have this great start, these two models, a cool wrapped thing and a palette, but I want to kind of marry these together. And so yesterday I had this thought that I could create a little plane like this. And one of the fun things about cinema is that you can tag anything using these simulation tags. Like I could tag these two solid objects to be cloth colliders. And then if I wanted to,
cloth colliders.
C, I can make that into some geometry, this plane, and then add a cloth tag to that, a simulation cloth tag. And just like that, I can press play and that'll like drape this cool little cloth over this thing.
Ready for a picnic.
Lovely. Look at that. And so I thought this would be a good way to do some nice looking straps around this kind of object. So I'm going to delete my tag on that and let me undo a couple of steps back to where my plane is interactive. So I can make it longer like this. I can make it narrower like that. And I'll add I don't need very many segments on this short side, so I'll just do like 3. And for the width segments, I'll crank that up a bit so I have a lot of little bits. And you'll see once I press C to make that editable, if I go to point mode or whatever, you can see now I got a lot of little bits of geometry on this thing. So just like it did before, I can take these...
Sorry.
just looking at these two hazardous screens.
The little bits are also often referred to as polygons by lesser people.
The little squares that make up the bigger squares. So I will just control copy out a couple of these, maybe control rotate a few around like to 90 or so. Hey, why didn't my rotate duplicate? Whatever. All right. So I'll make all of these little straps that are kind of aligned somewhere above this, and then we'll add those cloth tags to it. So
now, what you're about to do, I've seen it. Can you add little animated birds to do what you're about to do with those things?
I should. If there's one in the asset browser, I definitely am. So I'm going to turn just one to cloth for a second and show you what's going to happen. So when I press play, look, it goes and drapes itself right over just like it's one of those little like plasticky zip tie things. But it also gets all stretched out kind of weird and loses some of its, presence. So I found out that if you turn up the number of iterations when you have the cloth tag selected and press play again, a lot more fidelity for that thickness. So if I do this and I grab the same cloth tag, I think I can just control copy it to everything else, right?
You can, yes.
Nice.
Why do they disappear? What did I do?
I don't know.
Where'd you go?
Do it again while I'm watching.
Come back.
Okay, we're back.
What the heck? I don't know where they went. They disappeared. Whatever. Okay. I need 4 of these. And I want some of these higher than the others. Bump, bump. Oh, you're just aligned with your other one. Oh, maybe did it copy all their positions to the same place? Whatever it did. Let's just go add the cloth tags to all of these. Simulation, cloth. Let's select those cloth tags and turn up the number of iterations. Let's see if that got all of them or just the top one. Good, that got all of them. So now, look at this. Let me make this a little bit bigger for y'all to watch this exciting process. Just press play. And all these cloths drop and wrap right around there. And right at the last moment, they kind of swing inward. And if I pause right there,
boom.
Look at that.
That's so
nice,
cool.
like organic.
Hashi, that is so satisfying. I really want to watch you do that again.
I'm going to do that
means
again
he wasn't
and
watching.
again in a slow motion. Boom. That is satisfying.
So nice.
It's borderline inappropriate how satisfying that is.
So, wait. So now I could copy. Oh, it doesn't want to copy because of the sim being applied to it. All right, whatever. Anyway, that led me to creating a lovely. Let's just do a new project, and I'm going to import what I was able to create, which is just this cute little single palette right here. Whoops.
We're all married, so I can't make a joke out of you saying single palette. But just know that it was there. Oh, this is fun. Can you sing your song for this one that you sang for?
Oh, yes. I do need to. Let's see. First, wait, let's I moved my files, and so I've got to.
Oh, well, while you find your files, maybe I'll just real quick catch everybody up on my side.
Yes.
So I brought the Mixamo file, which I believe is an FBX, right? That it comes back as FX something
FBX. You're FBX. Correct.
And opened up in Cinema 4D, and here you can see me just falling and just high-fiving everyone on the way down. And I can export this in Cinema. Just go to File, Export as an OBJ, and this is a fun thing we've added. This has probably been around for forever in Cinema 4D, but it wasn't like when I first started trying to do this stuff. You export an OBJ, you can export the animation with it, and say all frames.
Isn't that cool?
Super great. And I click OK, and it saves.
Use a plugin for that, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, and so it saves a whole bunch of OBJs, and then I still know very little and nothing. I bring it into After Effects because that's the interface that I am still most familiar with, but I use Element just to bring it into After Effects for me. And I do, file import, 3D sequence, and I import this 3D sequence, and I end up with this Egon Spangler from the real Ghostbusters falling and high-fiving people. And I can just reconnect these materials. That's where I'm at. And next I'm going to create the environment and such, but I want to see Hashi's crate slide.
That is beautiful. So I just took a plane and warped some of the edges up to make this little slide of sorts. And then I took that crate and put it in the middle of an emitter, which is just right up here and just emits 1 palette per second. And if you go and you check show objects and render instance, you can get kind of like a repeating cool factory of palette. This is sloppy quality control, but let me also turn up the stop emission point to beyond the end. There we go. So now
Grant
I can.
From Film Learning is in the chat. Hey, Grant, how's it going?
Grant, good early morning to you, sir. So yeah, now we got a bunch of these going down a ramp, which is lovely. So I'm going to try to combine this with that ragdoll that we had of you, Seth, from a few, from last August, where we were doing ragdoll games.
So I've got me here falling. I'm going to go to quarter resolution because I'm doing a live show while I do this. And so I want to look at that. You found the fuselage. Did you make that?
I made this fuselage.
I looked at it last night for one and just gave up after a little while.
It was pretty straightforward. I just in Cinema went to a little angle like this and just kind of drew. Whoops. Let's see. I just there we go. I just drew a little shape that kind of seemed round enough, and then was flat on the bottom. And I could have used some kind of symmetry for this, but I didn't. I just guessed. And then once I had this exciting shape, I just went over to here and then extruded this shape out. Whoops. What do I need to be in?
I don't know. FYI, if you're going to do you keep going. You finish this, then I'll talk about
extrude that
environments.
What did I do?
You cannot. You put that spline in an extrude object.
I guess I thought that you could do some kind of a thing on it. So I'll throw it into an extrude object. I'm going to turn off the caps here.
Yes, unlike Seth Worley, it does not want a cap.
No, No caps. Basic. Let's extrude this a little bit longer, like that, and then rotate it on its side here. Boom, 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 boom. And I just want it as a framing device, so it looks like the back of a airplane. And I needed some kind of a texture, so I just went over to the asset browser, and under materials, let's see, what did I look for? I think it was under, let's see, it wasn't metal, but it's probably under tiles. So tiles, we've got floor and wall tiles, including these floor tiles right here. And just drag them right onto that.
The interior
download from the cloud, and look at that.
Oh, nice. I would fully expect the interior of my cargo plane to be all subway tile.
See, so backsplash. It's actually, it is actually just cool, kitchen.
It's kitchen tile, it's backsplash.
Just way scaled up, yeah.
Yeah, but it gives the impression of a fuselage or
a shower drain. One or the other.
Or I know terms for things.
So I am going to make the sky here. I'm actually going to set up my scene here involving my camera and our ocean and sky. Can you mind if I do that real quick while you at a place where you can be working on stuff that doesn't need to be explained while I do that? Sure. So so first off, we want to make the scene, and let's look at the clip. When you're doing shots especially in the sky or in space, you really don't. What you want is just to be inside of a big sphere that is going to reflect the camera orientation, but not your camera pan and position. Because when the horizon is so far away, your camera moving left and right is barely noticed, or moving forward and back especially is barely noticed. But any rotation or change in orientation of the camera, that's where you notice the change, and that's what makes a horizon background look like a horizon background. So
a horizon, huh?
Yeah, horizon. I'm using the word as much as I can because I'm going to obviously use trap code horizon. I create a new solid. I'll call
Horizon.
it Horizon.
Did I jump in on time?
You did it. And
yes.
I'm going to apply horizon. And at first, it's just a gradient. Let's actually bring a camera in so we can see what's going on here. And we want it to be, if you look at the reference, when Tom is close, his head gets pretty big, and then he gets far away. As he gets closer, it gets bigger. That's a pretty wide lens on there. And the wider the lens, the more dramatic the forward and back motion is. So I am just going to do a camera that's 20 mil. Click OK. And I will start flying this guy around, and you'll see orbiting around me. And the horizon, you see, it's just a gradient right now. It's like we're inside of a big sphere. You can actually, in Horizon, set an image map. So I have some
image map.
I have some oceans and
11 of them.
These are from Production Crate. Gosh, you silly man. Which one did I use? I don't remember. I tested this earlier. Let me reference my test sky. So HDR Ocean 1 is what I used. So I'm going to drop this Ocean 1 down in here and turn off its visibility. And in Horizon, I'm going to say, hey, you reference that. So now, as I fly around, you'll see I've got this ocean and sky behind me. And if I just pan with the camera, only I move and the background does not. If I zoom forward and back, dolly forward and back, I get no motion. But when I rotate, that's when it happens. So that's what you want. And that's why Horizon is so freaking useful. Now, I don't like how this sky and ocean look. I have this for the ocean. I like the ocean surface, but I have some sky maps that I had on my hard drive from, I believe these are Video Copilot ones, from the Flight Kit pack or something that he has. And these are cool sky 360s. The problem with them is, so here, it's super great sky up here. The problem is they're mirrored, top and bottom. And I want to see ocean. underneath, just like in the reference. Want that like teal ocean and maybe islands. I'm going to not do islands today because I just don't want to. But I can. I'm going to combine these to the sky and the sky and this ocean, both of these backdrops. So I'm going to, whichever one I have selected now, sky mirrored, I'm going to pre-compose it, and I'm going to leave all attributes, and I'm going to call this my sky PC. And I'm going to delete that ocean HDRI that I had from Production Crate in here and go into the sky pre-comp and then drop that ocean down in there. And I'm going to fit to comp width. And then I'm going to mask to where I'm just seeing the ocean. I'm going to do a fairly big mask on this side here so I can feather it.
Beautiful. And the bottom of that is, you won't get any seaming issues by not stretching that. Just doing fit to...
That's an excellent question, and I don't know.
Control-Alt-F, or maybe Option-Alt-F?
For going... for just stretching it? I should. You're right. I can just...
Because there'll be some seaming that happens in Horizon.
Let's just fit to comp so it stretches.
There we go.
That's smart. So redraw that mask there. And feather the crap out of it. And there's a couple things. So I've combined them, but... Oh, nope. But they're not going to look like great right off the bat. For one, their luminance, like they're like light values, like are very,
they're
very
day and
different.
night.
Yes. Thank you. God, I should have been able to come up with that one. So I'm going to crank up, I'm going to apply levels and just turn up the levels on this ocean here and see what that gets me.
You're getting somewhere.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Look at that.
I
kind of want you to use the offset effect to get the suns in roughly the same position.
Well, I am going to the offset effect. That's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea, Michael. I'll say it.
It's good. The problem is I'm going to be creating a new sun anyway, which I could get meticulous here with the sun, but just for the purposes of expediency, I'm not going to.
You'd be done with the offset effect already.
Nope. Michael suggested it, so no. What I am going to do is remember what I did in my test. I think that I used Colorista. Okay, yeah. So I want to get that like teal look from the original, that like hyper teal look, and get them kind of unified. So I'm going to add an adjustment layer, and I'm going to apply Colorista. And what I can do here is I can go to the hue saturation wheels, and I'm going to crank that blue into the closer toward teal. And I might even turn the temperature down, the tint, basically try to get these things unified looking. And what did I do? I don't remember what I did the first time around. That's even a different sky than the one I'm using. Uh-oh, guys. I'm forgetting what I did. Sky mirrored 6? Okay, I used the wrong sky. My bad.
But I dig this process, the combining of different elements to make a cool reflection map.
Now, hang on. Now you're right. I should do offset. Now that I'm looking at it, Michael.
You all can't see my faces.
How's that? How's that?
My face was saying "I told you so" in the most sarcastic way possible.
In the most motorcycle-y way.
Motorcycle. So now this is what my background is looking like. I think I could. So this, yeah.
That's pretty beautiful.
I was going to say, are you planning to use this in Element to affect your Element scene lighting as well?
Yeah. So what's nice about this is this Sky PC is like here still in my comp, and I can just go into Element and set my physical environment to Sky PC, and so it will light me and affect my light and reflections. I am going to do a little more. I'm going to, like I said before, I want to create a fake sun. In fact, Hashi, what are you working on? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So if people care and are watching, so we can both make progress at the same time, I'm going to move the sun a little back over to where I want to put a flare based on the shot. I'm going to add a plane, and I'm going to animate my camera, my handheld camera animate my camera movement and add some shake and handheld stuff to it. So we can check back in once I get to the handheld stuff. But what the hell have you made over there?
If any of you are a fan of Hot Wheels, I have set up here a nice little ramp with this low poly car with a little physics tag on it, and I've also placed that crate emitter that we had right here in the middle. So as you can kind of see, what this system does is you can kind of ignore what it looks like, but the idea is it looks like you've become this cool shadow man. Seth.
What's the character's name from Sin City where you just see his glasses and a silhouette?
You really have just become that.
Elijah Wood's character.
Oh yeah, no, he's a creep in that one.
Which
in the movie, not in real life, that I know.
What happened? Let's see. Elements.
In fact, I hear he's
3D stuff. Seth.
Yeah.
Text.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually just trying to find your. Was this your skin texture?
Is it my normals? Remember having that normal issue? Oh, okay, you got it.
Cool. Okay. So now we've got Seth from the Whelm Yourself promo, and he's sort of facing out the back of this window, or this open airplane hangar. Now, the way this ragdoll system works is there is this field, a little linear field that I can move up and down like this. When I press play, it's going to try to hover Seth kind of in the middle of this, which is kind of cool. But at the same time as all of that's happening, over on this end, we're going to start getting pallets spewing toward him and a car rolling down this crazy ramp at him. So what I would like to do, Seth, is see what your object avoidance chops are like, your acrobatic skills. So I'm going to give you the option, the default strength for this linear field that tries to keep you right around here is 300. Would you like to increase or decrease, Seth?
I was definitely listening. What am I going to increase and decrease?
You're going to pick a number probably between 0 and 1,000-ish.
Oh, easy. 1274.
1274.
That's over 1,000.
That's not between 0 and 1,000.
Okay. Well,
974.
Time is circular. So we're going to go ahead and set this linear field, which is a force field that is basically trying to pull both your head and upper body into this realm in the middle here. So I think by turning up the power of that, you might experience a little jump right when I start. Let's see. Let's play this. Boom. Oh,
I have medication to prevent this situation.
You did a cool lost jump,
No.
Do you remember? Everyone remembers that moment when the plane, like the person in the back, is just like boom, and slams into the ceiling.
Like yeah, it looks more like a shot, like a Brooks and Shawshank Redemption jump, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it does a bit. So we're gonna try to stay on this side of the line with that. All right, so you're jumping. We're playing Seth Flappy Bird, and the obstacles are coming. Oh,
come and get me!
Oh my gosh, we only have 90 frames to work with. That is a crime. Let's increase this to 500 frames. And let's double check our emitter. Our emitter is going to emit for, let's say, the first 400 seconds. And then that car is going to come careening down as well. So, Seth, let's see how you do. And action. Oh, he's doing okay? He's doing okay.
Come and get me, crates.
Oh, you made it on the first one.
Nice.
Over the second one. Ooh, you're doing good. Ooh, I think that got your feet.
This motion is strange. This is one that is reserved for my wife. The car.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
The car gotcha.
Car gotcha.
He always does. Sneak that car in there with those crates, as they say.
All right, let's see. Michael, you want to pick a number between 0 and 1274 or whatever.
286.
286. All right. 286. Now we're going to have Michael try. People in the chat all agree on one number, and we'll try it out. Ooh, I like this. You're kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
He's ready for it?
Rather than run.
Boom.
There
Ooh.
we go. That's nice.
Wait. Oh, staying in the plane.
I think I'm in a safe zone now. That car is going to take me out.
Just chilling.
No, I'm just going to jump.
Oh, no. Oh!
Oh! Out
Goodbye.
goes.
Oh, there's no gravity out there.
No.
No, you're caught in a little turbulence thing. All right, so because we're on a linear field, it's trying to keep you in that plane.
That linear field needs a fall off of its own, which you can do. You can put fields in fields, which is great.
I found my new screensaver for my computer on my side over here.
That is beautiful.
Egon.
Now, if you could be hit by a flying toaster.
That's an old school reference for you old school folks.
Yes,
Zoomers have no idea what a toaster is, much less one flying.
Let's do. Right, okay. You know what? I'm just going to convert this linear field to a little. Should I do a box field or a spherical field?
Cylindrical.
Cylindrical.
So far, the chat is unanimous, and your next number should be 504.
504.
Unanimous.
Perfect. All right. So force field. We've got 504.
Thanks, one person.
All right. Let's see. Here we go, everybody. And action. Oh, it's not the space bar. It's, what is it? F8. Oh. Here you go. You can make it. You can do it. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Sorry, Seth.
Just obliterated.
Well,
that knocked him out. Wait. Oh gosh. Oh, there it goes. Whoa.
Solid.
Oh, that's pretty great.
Big fan.
For
those of you trying to guess what the reference was to flying toasters, it was an old screensaver pack
called After Dark, right?
Yes, it was called After Dark. It had flying toasters who did all kinds of things like barrel rolls and even more unusual things. They had wings, mind you. They also had screensaver little dog that would run around your desktop and grab your files and folders and shred them and dig holes in your computer and pull out wires in the monitor. Not really, obviously.
Funny that like toasters were such a prevalent thing in tech. Then like video toaster, like I guess just those two, video toaster and the flying toasters. But they were like a go-to funny thing for tech.
They're hilarious.
They are.
Here we are.
And there were keyboard things you could hit that would make like toast go into the toasters. Like it was like an interactive screensaver. And again, for younger people, screensavers used to be important because monitors would have burn-in if the same thing was left on the screen all the time. So you had to have something pop up on the screen to change it.
And that was
otherwise, your monitor would have your Word document burned into it.
Burn-in is when the actor Ed Burns comes over to your house and steals your monitor. It was a prevalent threat in the 90s and a hilarious joke now in the 2020s.
We all remember where we were when Ed Burns stole our first monitor. You get wise after that.
Yeah. All right, so I'm falling. And I got a wiggle on my position. This is the fun stuff. And I've got just an X rotation happening, which this right here is like probably good enough for me to start doing the camera. I do want a little bit more chaos in the rotation, so I may...
Do Z.
Well, should I do Z or Y? I guess Z. Yeah, Z is a good idea.
Why Z, Seth? Nothing. Ignore me. All right, I'm going to see if I can interactively drag this field around. And no, pick him up. And let's try. Off the floor. Jump! No. Oh, I'm so terrible at Uncharted.
At uncharting.
This is the next version of the game. You just try to float your chosen character out of the way of boxes.
Wait, I gotta capture him in the force field. And move the force field up slowly enough that I get flying Seth. Whirly. Oh, here comes the car. Here it comes. Let's see. I got to jump in between. Jump. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, Seth.
It's okay. It's worth it. There I go. Look at that. That's so fun.
Oh, dear. Dear, oh, dear. All right. Well, I'm thinking that now that we know why you fell out of this plane, I could maybe move on to something a little bit more useful, which is one of my backup ideas, which is showing people how to create a cool, like, a jungle ruins scene.
Yeah.
So not tried this out, but I did download this cool art grid piece of footage, and it's flying over this little river, a place that, like people would never actually build a structure because there's water there, and that's a foolish idea, but I think it might look cool. So
movie makers tend to put buildings right on picturesque rivers, not paying attention to the fact that no sane person, except for that one architect who built a river through a house, would do that.
That's right. So some, basic things. Let's set the ground plane and origin and create a solid and camera. And then, because my camera move is oriented kind of this way, I'm going to rotate this little plane so it's what I think of as like facing the camera. And then I'm going to rename this solid to floor, like that. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to use our very own cool plugin or script, what should I call this, module, created by Joe over at workbench.tv, called the normalized track script. And this thing is just a delight because it will take all of this tracked data. Let me see, just for example, what everything looks like. Let's just make a little 3D layer of text, and I'll say, make it 3D.
Where did it go, Hashi? Where did it go?
It went right here, and it's very small. It's in there, but why here? That's very silly.
That is very silly, Hashi.
So now what if, let's say, before I had turned that into a 3D layer, what if I had renamed this layer floor and then just clicked this one button solution that Joe came up with, like that, and now I turn this test layer of text to 3D. Hey, look at that.
The silliness quotient is significantly less.
Yes, it kept it in the same relative position, but it puts it right near the center of all of this. And so my whole world is centered nicely right here.
What you've just done looks like every lost DVD menu that existed.
It really is. This is how you learned how you got post-production work in the early aughts.
Yep. You learned motion tracking and a sans serif font, and you were in.
Yep. I very infamously did this exact thing for the inaugural season of Naked and Afraid, everybody. The graphics package artist right here.
It's an unfortunate term.
A very unfortunate term. And also unfortunate if you were any of my friends who I handed off blur work to. I didn't do any of the blur work myself.
Yeah.
But
the people who work on those shows, man.
Respect. It's yes.
Hey, real quick, I just want to talk about. I've checking on mine. I've got animation. The camera just animated on Y positioning, so I fall and pass, and I'm not just keeping point of interest right at the center of the comp and keeping me at the center of the comp. So I'm not actually animating me falling. Me is just sitting there in the middle of the comp, just wiggling around and spinning.
You are reverse engineering the motion control systems of old.
No, Seth, the chat is wondering how you got your camera move that smooth. They say they can never get their camera animations to be that smooth.
It's very simple. I am only animating one thing. I separated my the dimensions, position dimensions out. So I control clicked or right clicked it and did separate dimensions. So now I have X, Y, and Z separately, and then I just the point of interest, if you have a two-node camera, it's always going to stay pointed at whatever you have the point of interest set to. So the point of interest is set to look straight at me and where the general area where I am. and I just animate the camera position to go up and down. And as it does that, it auto-orients the camera to point toward that point of interest. So I'm not animating keyframes based like moving my camera around. I'm doing it down here in the keyframe controls down here. And so it's just a up to down move, and the camera auto-orients to point where I am. But so it's super smooth, and that's fun. So now I've got to make it crazy. There's a couple ways I'm going to add wiggle. I'm going to add camera shake and wiggle. There's kind of there's more than two, but like bare minimum, there's two different types of shake I want to add. And one of them is like the general, like broad camera shakes. Like it's I am falling through the sky and I'm holding a camera. And so I can't keep it steady on one thing. Like, so the camera is actually moving around. And then I want the actual, like, this like camera jitter that happens from your like the camera hardware itself shaking around, inside itself, like the lens is shaking on the front of it, the sensor in the back is like everything is shaking on just slightly different wavelengths because it's a
your JJ's
flawed camera. Yes, my JJ Abrams as well, which is why the great shake and we can talk about a lot about Lost today. In Lost, in the airplane. In the plane scenes in The Lost Pilot and all throughout the first Star Trek, JJ is like drumming on the film magazine to actually shake the film itself as it's running through the camera. And so you get this really organic, cool shake and jitter. And so that I'm going to add that shake with Universe camera shake in a second. There's a preset for car mount that I use and I slightly modify and I make sure motion blur is turned on. And so that gives me the slight jitter and then gives me the jitters. And then the main big camera motion, I'm going to start by alt-clicking point of interest and adding a wiggle. Let's say 5. So a frequency of 5. And I don't remember what I did. Maybe it was... Let's say
while you think about that, you did bring up a really cool point, which is if you're breaking down any kind of camera shake and you want to use expressions for it, it is really important for you to imagine how you think it's being filmed.
Yep.
So if you're doing this big, like swooping crane shot and you know that you want a little bit of jitter just because the camera would be a little bit loose on that thing, you can set up a rotation point for the camera that is not the actual camera or its point of interest. You can add a fake jib arm, or you can add a fake like underswing thing. And so the types of rotation and jitter you get on the camera are mimicking all the physical components of what went into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of the problems a lot of camera moves have is that by default, the point of rotation is the point where the camera is seeing, like it's either the film if it's an imaginary film camera or the what's the word, sensor in a digital camera. But real life cameras don't pivot from that point, generally speaking. They would pivot from the person holding it because they're moving their shoulders or their body, or if it's on a crane, like you said, it's pivoting from the crane point of view, or if it's never pivoting from right where that point is. So camera moves they feel more CG when they're pivoting from right where the sensor is rather than pivoting from some alternate location.
They do. So over on my side, I'm just doing a very straightforward thing of adding a 3D object into a 3D camera tracked scene. Now, for the sake of trying to do lots of cultural appropriation, I am grabbing a photo scan of an art-directed totem at Disneyland. So it's designed to look.
So it's their appropriation and not yours.
They famously, no appropriation going on here.
Smart.
But this is specifically designed to be devoid of that. And so what's great about a photo scan is that, like, look at this. Like, already a photo scan.
Look at that.
Fits beautifully into here, and this is pre any kind of integration or anything. Now, the part that suffers is this interaction right here. So I've got to decide how I want to make this 3D model interact with this bizarro, ground situation that I have going on. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit so its contact point would be right in the middle of the water. And just like I said, not a great idea, but we'll pretend that something was known about this specific point that made it specifically suitable to set this in here. Let me rotate this around and try to find the angle where its lighting kind of matches the general lighting of what's going on in here. It's a little bit top down, and it's just ever so slightly from the left. I can't quite tell. I'm trying to look at these trees for an indication. The best thing about the soft lighting is that you get kind of both, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What do y'all think?
I honestly feel like you ask an orientation, like which
I'm trying to see what the world's lighting is. I mean, it's very flat, which is nice.
Yeah. And notice it's lighter on the left than it is on the right, which tells me that the light source is probably coming from camera right off behind, because there's more shadow on the right side of trees than there is on the left.
So, so closer to this probably. The thing about a photogrammetry model is that its lighting is baked in. So I'm trying to find the rotation on it that is similar enough to the way lighting is here. And I think we've found it there, because its brightest side is right here, facing where we think the lighting is facing in this. Yeah, something like that.
That looks nice.
Cool. And one cool thing, like right away, that I could do. Well, actually, I do want to obscure this weird base thing. So let me go into the scene setup for this, and I'm going to create just some gobbledygook that this can interact with. So let me create a new group for just a second, and in this group, let me see if there's anything in the starter pack that could work for this. I'm looking for weird, random, bumpy shapes. So let's grab maybe. It's very exciting. Rocks. Hey, there's some rocks. That works because there are rocks in this scene, right? So rocks could be lovely.
Yes.
I'll scale them down a little bit like this, and then let's just say okay for a moment. And I'm going to hide my group 1 for a second, and for group 2, I'll create a little null. So I've got this little rock in there somewhere. Let's see. Can I see it? Or did I turn it off right at the last minute? What did I do? Oh, I didn't assign it a group number. The exciting things you learn.
The exciting things you learn.
Group 2. There we go. Okay, so there's a rock. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move the null that's connected to this rock, kind of look at what the other rocks in the area look like. And I'm going to scale this down a bit to the size of said rocks. And then I'm going to use the particle duplication system within this. Under particle look, let's do, where is it? Particle replicator. Let's do this as a plane. If I say plane, I can turn up the number of particles in it, and now I've got a bunch of rocks like this. On the shape options, I think I can scatter them a little bit. So we're getting kind of something different. I'm going to scale down their overall shape, scale down the, whoops. How many things there are? Seth, you're welcome to talk too. This is just me doing some
I am
junky moving things around.
Trying to create a little more chaos with this move, like as I pass me, and so I'm having the camera start a bit farther away from me, and then right as it's about to pass, like I'm having it get super close, And
nice.
then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to accept my camera move as it currently is after this.
Just
and I'm gonna,
accept it.
And I'm going to add a parallel light to create a little more sunlight. This is obviously a preview version, but I've got the environment light happening on me, but I want to actually fake some more sunlight. So I'm going to bring in a parallel light to blast down with some sun. And then I'm going to use null light factor to create a flare in a general faked position of the sun, intentionally making sure that that flare, that my body crosses the flare so that I can use it as an obscuration layer. It helps sell
Great
it.
idea. Now, on my rock, I'm just quickly going to its settings, where on its, I'm going to turn down its reflectivity to nothing, because I really don't need it to do that. I'm going to turn down its glossiness, and neither of those may matter, because I'm actually going to go down and check this box called Matte Shadow.
Matte Shadow.
And so that is just, that's made it invisible in here, but that means that, isn't it kind of cool? You can kind of see it obscuring the little grid lines in there. So that's made it this invisible object here. And when I say OK, you'll see that the matte shadow mode is just cutting out little bits of the bottom of this. If I scroll forward, you'll be able to see more of what's going on. But there are actually 3D shapes now connected to this second null that can interact with the base of this object and create kind of a cool warbly interaction on the bottom. And so if I scale that kind of down to the shape and size of these rocks or so, and just move it up and down until it's doing something like this, now there's a cool wobbly thing going on here where the 3D model disappears in this kind of organic shape. I'm going to scale it up a little bit more, scale it wider a little bit more. So now I get this warbly thing. And I can also do one last thing, which is I'll jump into the scene setup in here again. And then Matte Shadow, Private Detective. That is beautiful. On the actual group with this model, I'm going to create a plane that is a little bit bigger like that. I'm going to throw this matte shadow thing on it, and I'm just going to drag this up to right about here anyway. So that'll cut off everything there, and then all of that extra detail I'll get from my rocks. So we'll do that, and rock and roll. Look at that. We've got a kind of cool interaction point that looks a little bit more realistic now. And without adding any lights or anything to this, I could probably go to the ambient occlusion settings and turn them on. And you'll start to, as you play with this, you can add, oh, check that out. You're getting ambient occlusion on all of these rocks.
Nice.
So I actually I don't want them doing it themselves. So I'm going to jump back into here, back to the material properties, and down at the bottom of material properties, if they're on screen at all, maybe they're not, I will say for the ambient occlusion mode, I want to receive ray traced ambient occlusion, but I don't want it to cast any. So if I say OK now, it'll all disappear for a second because I'm not using ray traced ambient occlusion. I've got to switch to that down here, ray traced. And now, if all goes like I hope, there we go. So now these rock models are receiving some of this ambient occlusion right where the interaction with the shadow happens, just like that. But they're not doing it to themselves. So you just get a bit of interaction and not all that craziness. Let me straighten this out a teeny bit. Nope, not that. I want to straighten out this little obelisk or whatever it is.
Now, there is a question in the chat about Seth's scene. Is there a way you could add turbulence displacement on your model and mask it to be present only where you have clothes, so it looks like the clothes are flapping crazily in the wind as you fall? And the answer is yes. There is a displace modifier in Cinema 4D that you can apply to footage, and you can mask it a number of different ways, shaders and whatnot. Or you could just isolate the model and make it happen. But you couldn't do it very easily inside After Effects. There is displacement inside Element. So if Seth had saved his head and shoes and hands separately as separate models, he had two different models. He had the clothes falling, and the shoes, head and hands falling separately. He could add that displacement inside Element to the clothes and make it happen that way. So yes, the answer is yes, basically. Yes, there is a way, and that is the way. There's a way. There's several ways.
There is. Yeah, if Seth wanted to, I think if they are separate textures, you could duplicate the group that is your body and, solo the head and glasses and hands.
It's not because it was Mixamo, it's one texture.
I think, was it one texture in the end, Seth, or did it end up being multiple? I don't remember what we tried yesterday.
We actually, I think that we ended up doing yesterday in cinema, I skipped this today, but when we set up this model, took it from Mixamo, brought it into cinema, we then separated it out into pieces.
Well, then you might be able to add some displacement, flappy.
I could. I don't know if I'll have time on the show today, but I absolutely could.
Skip it for now, but you totally could, everyone.
That's a fun idea.
All right. So for my obelisk here, I'm going to add a secondary effect here called reflection. Reflection is part of the VFX suite, and I adore it. So check this out. So basically, if I wanted to just kind of draw where this obelisk might be reflecting and kind of, what direction it is, this is the reflection tool. And it just takes whatever is literally right on that thing, and I get a perfect reflection like that. And the fun part about it is I can then do things like, if I want to, I can have it blur. So I can have some softness to this. And there are a bunch of different types of blurs you could have. The default is a progressive linear one, so it kind of gets blurrier the farther it gets away from camera. There's this MIP map one, which I like because you get some nice detail up here, but more scattered detail down here. And then on top of all that, there's also a displacement bit right here. And displacement is great because you can say displacement map. I want to use the footage that this is all coming from as a displacement map. I'm going to use its luminance. And now if I turn up the horizontal displacement, for example, look at this. It starts displacing my reflection using this. I can't geek out over this enough. It is so cool because that diffusion or that displacement is coming from the actual mat there. And if I turn up my softness, you get basically a cool illusion of your reflection being scattered and really reacting to that water, which is great. Now, I don't need all of this reflecting here, so I'm going to have to do some careful work with this here. But even with no keys or anything like that, you can see, look at the detail of this reflection. Isn't that cool? And you can sort of reference how the trees and other things are reflecting in here. Turns out they end up pretty dark over here, but they're also, I think, influenced a little bit by the green. This is influenced by this color. And I could always go to, I can tint this, right? Or am I remembering something else? Michael, what am I remembering? I thought you could tint your shot,
Tint your reflection?
Yeah. Oh. No, I'm thinking of shadow, VFX shadow. You can tint your shadow. So
for this one, you might need to make reflection only and then just use any color grading effect.
That sounds good. Now, because this is a 3D camera move and reflection designed to be very quick 2D kind of effect, what I am going to do is I'm just going to add some keyframes to the axis start and slant and hide. That's basically these controller points where everything is reflecting from. Now, I could, if I were doing a crazy official version of this, I would go to my 3D camera tracker, find two spots on the ground that are on the same plane and create a null at each, and then use the 2comp expression to align the shadow to the ground plane the whole time. Or, you could just add some keyframes here and then scrub forward and probably just move all these down like that. Just keep them straight, keep that one straight. And so over time, the reflection is just kind of doing that. See, and like, look at how much time you save instead of setting up all these 2 comps and stuff like that. Too complicated, I say, is what 2comp stands for. Oh. Actually, I'm just kidding. I would never forsake you 2comp expression.
It wouldn't be so bad. You really wouldn't need to really do any tracking because you already have the tracking data, set up pretty nicely.
Exactly.
You would just use 2comp plus value on each one of those points and then drag it out to where you want it to be based on just the one null object you have there for the base of the structure.
Exactly. You're right. It'd be very little work to do. But I'm a busy man. And what time have we got here? We are
1:24, sir.
Lovely.
If we're gonna get to torch effects, we got to move through.
Wait, what are we trying to get to?
Torch effects, I think.
Fire. Oh, yes. I love fire.
You do love fire. All right, Seth, how are you feeling over there? You know what I'm going to do? I can finish off this silliness real quick and then pull up in some torchy stuff.
It's really going to be about adjusting random and like turning on motion blur and just adjusting like various like random seeds and wiggle stuff to try and get the randomness to look exactly like I want it to, and to also avoid a flat like a close-up shot of my face like this. I mean, motion blur will block that a bit, but you definitely still, that's too much of my digital face for my comfort.
See, we just need to bake it in, and then we'll film your face from those exact angles using the selfie stick.
I also want to adjust the camera to where I want to fake the sun as realistically as I can, like location wise. I don't buy this location right now, but also I'm gonna put it in a place to where where I'll go in front of it. So like, if I move the light, I have it paired to this parallel light. If I move it here behind me, you see it like I block the sun. And so I want it somewhere where like my body will like pass it a couple times while spinning around to help sell the whole effect.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just to give an example of like, here's a test render I did yesterday of this effect.
I hate you for this.
Well, it looks a little bit like those like digital like reenactment videos they used to do, or maybe still do, of like on the news, or like basically previs. It looks like previs, but it's still cool.
I think it's great. It looks to me like the movie Free Guy, and like in a fun way that you could get away with it being in this uncanny, realism valley. That's so cool, man.
Well, so I guess real quick, I should just show off SuperComp just for a second, and try to get that look.
Hey, Seth, how did you get all that light interacting across all of those multiple elements you have there?
Well, great question.
You got light wrap and everything.
Light wrap and everything, but it's not overdone, right?
You remind me of Superman in this comp. It's a very super...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Superman just falling like this, flailing about. So you all know. Let's grab our elements that we're going to comp. I think I'm just going to comp me in the background. That's really all. I'm not even going to grab the flare in this.
No flare? You need at least X pieces of flare. I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't show myself going to get SuperComp because I just realized I have a beta installed and it has some things that no one can see. So I'm going to real quick switch over to us driving. We're just going to go driving for a little bit.
Sounds good. Hiding that screen.
Hey, Hashi, I don't want to miss this. Jotham wants you to try number 376 in your...
Number 376? Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
I'm assuming that's what it's for.
I only do this for you.
And we're back to After Effects. So, with SuperComp, I am going to... just really like, so there's a couple of different things everyone knows we could go and do with SuperComp. Is for light wrap, you would think, oh, I'm going to just go here and I could add light wrap to the foreground layer, to the me layer. But here's what I like doing instead. I like going to the background and giving it a little tiny understated, not that, optical glow. Like, I'm talking 1%, size 100, or maybe even size like 50. And do you notice what's happening? It is wrapping around my body.
Ooh, it's like a Snuggie.
Yeah, so I'll turn off this optical glow real quick. Turn it back on. You see it's glowing around my edges too and helping envelop me in the light from the background. Now I will go and I'll say highlights only, maybe 50%. So that glow, maybe 50%.
It's gorgeous because it's like it gives the air such like atmosphere to do that.
And so honestly, sometimes that's all I'll go and do. Golly, motion blur needs to be turned on with that idiot face of mine.
Now, Jotham, you wanted to see 376, right? But I don't know what kind of field you wanted to see that on. Was it the cylindrical field like we have set up right now? Because I can do that. I'll set it to 374.
I have no idea how far back
376
non-live Jotham is.
But let's see how 376 does.
Non-live Jotham is his name?
Oh, no.
I'm dead on arrival.
Oh no. Oh, I panned up too far. Oh no. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, that was.
It just falls off the end like wet toilet paper.
Jeez. That's visceral. I don't know about that. All right. Well, one thing I could do maybe, instead of this being a force field that adds to the velocity, what if I had it just set it as a little change direction one, which just will keep them kind of pinned right here. Let's see how that looks. Oh, not enough. Not enough force again. Okay. Let's put that a little bit lower and let's change it to the cylinder. Let's make it a sphere or a box. Why not? Let's press play. And we've changed the mode of this field to just a little directional change here. So, boom.
Boom.
Boom. Oh, look at that. You're just rolling with the punches. You can do it. You can do it. You can survive this car. Seth!
Oh, I did it.
Oh, look at that. Boom. Like it tweren't nothing.
Tweren't?
Oof. Just your legs have just been pulverized, so just your bones sliding around in flesh sacks. Family show.
So, by the way, real quick, might be a good time to show off one of Magic Bullet Looks. A feature in Magic Bullet Looks that many may not know about that's very useful is the reference library. I actually yesterday added these reference images from the Uncharted trailer, and you can reference them anytime in the reference library up here, and split screen them and try and match your color as best you possibly can. My new favorite tool in Looks is the channel mixer, which I often use when trying to match color to another color grade.
Really? You use channel mixer for that?
I love it, man. I just like the way I think the color fall offs are really nice in channel mixer, and I find that it's kind of like if you don't know what you're doing, it's nice to sometimes have a new switch that channels things, that like a new switch that's wired different than your old switch, like have a new dial that is just has different processes going on behind it that you can dial. You can find new looks because like you've gotten used to the old dials that you're old levers you're pulling at random.
Same old habits.
Yeah.
See, if I was trying to match colors, I would use the color remap. Because then you could say, I want this color to be that color.
Yeah, you can. The thing is, I am also... Okay, a couple things.
But you're doing stylizing more than... One
might be psychological, is that I'm also... There's something in me that's like, I'm not trying to match something exact. Like, I'm trying to I look at it more as, I'm trying to get where they got, my own way to get there, if that makes sense, so I can feel like I created it, because... I'm a creator, not a recreator. That's not a term.
Is this the same reason why you don't want tennis balls and tracking markers on set?
No, that's just to be a show off. And
And everyone is always impressed the way that you want them to be.
Everyone always impressed.
They walk away saying, that guy.
They do. And
such a better process this time around. He really had his stuff together.
Yep. Anyway, that's just, I forgot where I was going with that. The point is, I could use color. Let's just do it. Why not? Color remap.
Lovely. Everyone gets it over here, right? Adding a boring old
that blue to that
Disneyland sculpture
blue.
to a thing.
And look, it matches cool just stuff. Perfectly. It
looks like a movie.
Great. It works like it's supposed to. Boo. 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 Stu is watching and just mortified that I'm ruining his product. Boo. Whatever. Hashi, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. I do know that we had talked a little bit about doing some torch effects, because torches are notoriously dangerous to have on film sets. Have you had torches in any of your filming, Seth?
Well, I had ground fire, which was actually this long tube that the pyro guy, effects guy, it would be strategically placed beyond a slope in the dirt, so you just see it behind a hill or behind some grass, and it was just like a tube or a pipe that had fire outlets that was gas powered, I think, or something. I don't know. And it was fully controlled. But no, I've not done a live torch on set.
And the problem with the torch is that it's a big ball of fire that you have to trust into the hands of your talent, which, is, you're not working with. I've never worked with talent before. Sometimes it's a bit.
They're dumb. Talent is dumb.
Yeah. So ideally, you just get some red and yellow LEDs that flicker on the end of a stick, and you can do some of this madness that Haji's about to show you. Exactly. A lot of people are just I'll just track this fire footage on the end of the stick, no problem. But fire doesn't work like that. When the stick is moving around, the fire doesn't just go on top of it. It follows, it flows. So
it is a problem.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Hashi's got some techniques to show you to fix that.
Why not? All right. So let me, you know what, Seth, the last thing I want to do at the very end here is we need to add you landing in my, the shot of this ruins, just right there, either right on the obelisk or just unceremoniously
100%. That's what we need to do. 100%.
All right, so that's coming up for all you is the conclusion of this. So then we can cut together a little trailer that is you getting knocked out of the plane by the wrong settings, falling very beautifully, majestically, and realistically, and then just landing somewhat near this, presumably where you were trying to get to discover the treasure. All right, let's create a new project. Why not?
Jason Murphy in the chat says that they worked on a movie in Thailand and they just poured gasoline on 100 feet of hay balls. Slightly different safety protocols over there.
Hay balls.
Hay balls. Man, that would be
there are some jokes I could make about that.
I can't think of a single one. So let's just real quick see if our friends at ArtGrid have, let's see, what would you carry around like a torch? Maybe a lighter?
Have people walking around with just sticks, unlit sticks in their hand? Walking stick?
Let's see. All right. So yeah, walking
holding
stick.
A stick up like they're searching for something, but not actually on fire.
Exactly, and it happens to be a little light source that they,
Flare.
Let's see. How's this flare? Okay, let's see. What are these people up to here? Man,
arson,
woman, walking, field,
arson. By the way, I love looking at stock video or stock photo titles, reading them as newspaper headlines, just very, very mundane insignificant newspaper headlines.
Part of cool couple hang out.
Young boy looks at dog with longing eyes.
How is it part of? Oh, it's part of the collection.
Oh, part of a couple.
It's like, all right. Let's see. Just to make sure we're all safe for work here, I'm going to browse on this screen over here.
Hashi Nick from the chat has apparently brought his wet blanket today, and is concerned that nobody cares that Seth is clearly falling over an open ocean and then is suddenly going to fall into a very wooded river.
Do you have any idea what the winds are like in these locations?
No,
very
we
windy,
have to do that. We have to get a shot of me almost
it
about
blew
to hit
him
the ocean.
inshore.
It's like the tides, you know?
Yeah, so we need a shot of me almost about to hit the ocean, and then like as I get close to it, I'm just swept up into the air and float like to an island about a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
Like the feather in Forrest Gump. Actually, I would like me to fly into Forrest Gump and have the opening titles with me flailing about to Alan Silvestri's music. And I land at the feet of Tom Hanks. Actually, I'm joking around, but how much time do we have? Or could we devote a week of this show at some point to replacing the feather with my flailing body in Forrest Gump?
Absolutely.
We don't have time today, but we should have a Forrest. We should have a Forrest Gump themed episode.
Have we not done that yet? We were planning one.
We could talk head replacements, or mouth replacements. If not the full head, we could talk about matching archive footage with grain and coloring. Like this is a great idea.
Let's invite Alan Melagenian back to the show for that. That would be perfect.
Oh yeah, that would be great. He'd be great.
Or Tom Hanks, captain. One of the two.
Oh, speaking of
another
famous Sully.
It's true. Speaking of fame and fortune, I've just been told that Tom is done with his press junket and is able to actually jump back into the show. Do we want to bring him back in and say hi?
Thank you,
Tom.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, pal. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
How's the press
Staying
junket
awake
been?
during all the craziness? People asking the same 40 questions. Do they ask you any questions,
coffee.
Or are they all questions about?
Good coffee.
Is it Zendaya or Zendaya?
Oh, Hashi, it's Zendaya. Most people think that it's Zendaya, but it's actually Zendaya. And I'm a trusted source on this, being a 37-year-old white guy.
I was thinking because you lived in Music City, and she was originally more of a musical artist than an actress.
Oh, you're being very generous with your qualifications. You're subscribing to me. I'm just a fan. I don't know a whole lot. But you, Tom, you've worked with her. Tell me what it's like to work with Zendaya.
I think you'll find that Tom's done more than just work with Zendaya. He's hung out with Zendaya.
What? That's inappropriate. He is with us right now. He can hear you.
Tom, tell him that you're more than just work colleagues.
Wait, is this really? Are they dating? I didn't know this.
I didn't say they necessarily were dating, but if Tom wants to bring that sort of information onto the show, Tom, you go right ahead.
Well, that's fantastic. You're both beautiful, wonderful people who are extremely talented, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both of you. I'm a fan of you as one. Tom, unfortunately, we're out of time, so I'm going to have to let you go. Maybe next time we'll let you say words. Goodbye. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back.
It's always
just
great
closing down all this
ugly mug and replace it with mine.
Start fresh over here.
It's always great having Tom on the show. I will say that he's
a
fun,
such a good guy to come on. Just take the time out of his busy schedule.
All right, well, I'm going to leave the audience with just once again this test render, which looks better than what I just did on the day, but I also had a plane. Anyway, what are we doing? Torch stuff?
Yeah,
I think so.
Both of you do torch stuff. Why not?
All right.
Yeah. Do torch stuff. All right.
You're giving the dog a torch.
Hey,
Excellent.
Man's best friend. Now,
I feel like you're going to make life difficult for yourself with that shot.
You're going to light that grass on fire is what you're going to do.
Who says that that's the lit end? Who's the smart dog?
That poor dog.
Fine. This dog is going to Ghost Rider its way out of the water.
It's just a cigar, is what it is.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So, yes, this is going to make it difficult for me, but I think it's going to be fun. Let's go ahead and save the project right off top, and we'll save it in our Uncharted After Effects things. Dogfire. Okay.
Dogfire. You get caught up in love.
More than meets the
dog. Dogfire.
All right. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to see.
I got 2 more bars in it, Hosh. I got 2 more bars. Dogfire. No, you can go ahead. Sorry.
If I run an extract on this footage, I just want to see if I can isolate these foreground plants and also the torch. Let's see. Hey, pretty well.
Done. Gave him an eye patch, too.
Boom. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my very favorite of plugins called
Horizon.
The Trapcode Particular. Okay, you work on a torch using Horizon only, and I'm going to work on using.
What if I did? What if it was the best torch you've ever seen?
You may be able to. I think that you could do it.
Horizon torch. That's my song.
An action VFX element. You throw it in a small little comp and just like rotate your. It would look very good. I'm positive.
I'm going to also create a torch, but you're going to do it better because you have all your fire tricks that I always forget the second you teach them to me.
I always remember them once I'm doing something and I'm like, why am I doing all this stuff? I could probably just use rough and edges and that would fix everything, probably. So I see you're cracking open some particular. I'm going to open up some particular as well.
Now, there are torch things.
Non-beta. Great.
There are torch things in here, right? We've got a torch thing. It's
You just got torches right in there already?
No, I mean, like,
there you go.
There's
a hairy fire.
What's it called? Torch, smoke, burp. Michael, what's it called?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Don't you dare act like you don't know in your sleep what the names of all of these presets.
You know, honestly, I don't go into the presets very often at all. That's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, because usually I'm after something very specific, and I like to similar to you, and you're not wanting tracking markers much. Like I'm just going to do this the hard way.
Yeah, you know, while you're doing that, why don't I?
So hazy fire is one preset. It's a little bit too wild for me. Let's see, rocket boot, a simple fire. Very simple. You know what? Yeah, I don't want to use a preset either.
Well, I'm also going to show everybody. Our friends in Action VFX have some torches down here as well.
They sure do.
And maybe we can put these things together because I feel like you can combine particular with these torch effects.
Oh, 100% yes. Because
that's the best way to do it.
Yes. Because you want torches to have that little like embery thing going on, and you might want to art direct them a little more, so you could add those on top of with the stock footage fire.
We're not looking for big gas fires. Big ass fires.
I am going to, in the meantime, add a null object like this. I'm going to make it a 3D
you remember
object.
My nickname, Michael. Thanks.
And then I'm going to add a little light here, just a little point light, and we'll make it kind of fiery colored. Why not? Doesn't matter. I'm going to attach this point light to this null and zero its position out a little bit. So, and the reason I do that is because I don't like animating lights. I don't like the way you've got to go like grab their gizmos and move them around. I like being able to
be a cinematographer.
Like,
it's very
like
annoying.
A thing. Like you can grab the handle and move it around. So I'm going to do one of my favorite tricks for 3D tracking, which is just a really, really loose version, which is I'll create a camera here. I'm going to pretend that this first position, which is way back here, is in the background there. I'm going to turn the camera's orientation so it looks a little bit like that square is sort of in perspective, right? I'll add a keyframe here for its Z properties, and then we'll get all the way forward to around here by just dragging this closer and closer to camera, closer and closer to camera, so it sort of grows proportionately the way this torch does, like that. And now this tracking
growth.
Obviously isn't great, but what I can do is, in particular, I'll switch its emitter type to lights. I'll do that, and then I'll remember after the fact to rename this light emitter 1. Why not? And now when I play through, all scrunched over here in this half screen setup. Let me find my preview buttons again. All right. So now when I play this back, what I should have is, first of all, I forgot that it's going to assume the emitter size is 500, and I don't want it to be that big. I want it to be, let's try like 20 big. Now we've got what I want, which is turn down this. This is a poor shot for this because the background is so bright. So it's going to be hard to add a torch to it. Well, I really still want to. So if I turn off my extracted layer, you can sort of see now I have this little emitter that is way back there, and now it sort of is moving forward through space somewhat with the dog. So you can you get some perspective shift there, right? And now we'll do some just boring manual tracking. Since the overwhelming majority of this is already moving on Z, I'm just going to go do my favorite thing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is exciting.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now, you could do this.
You could track that thing with spot clone, and it would be just fine.
And just change the scale of the particles and stuff. I really am committing to the 3D.
No, I would too.
3D space here, which is probably foolish.
No, it's not.
Now, the other way you could do this is you could motion track this in 2D space and then parent that 2D tracking to a 3D plane that is set right oriented with a camera and fit to the gate, and then push it back over time to match the Z, but scale it up appropriately, and then use the two world. Why I should do that? That's a really good idea.
Speaking of ideas, Jason Diamond, who is marketing themselves as the upgrade from Jason Murphy, suggests you should make the dog shot day for night so you have a much better offset for the torch, which I think might be doable depending on if you've got the raw footage. It's not too blown out.
Well, let's see.
Nick says that Seth is cheating because this technique of mixing practical and digital effects is basically what you did on Darker Colors.
It's cheating if I do what I already did.
What?
It's
don't bring up his previous material.
Yeah, definitely that. Don't, especially that previous material. Go watch Darker Colors if you haven't.
That's the sequel to Darker Colors.
Chances are
previous material.
Previous material, lighter fare.
All right,
his Darker Colors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to download the log version of that in the background, so I'll have some more options in a little bit to do some day for night stuff. Okay. In the meantime, this is my quick and dirty 3D track of this torch. I'm pretty proud of it, actually. It's moving through 3D space. We did that in a relatively short amount of time, but also I'm kind of unaware of what time it actually is.
It's 1:52. You have 8 minutes to put fire on that dog stick. Stick on that dog's stick. Dogs?
Okay.
Stick.
Dog stick. All right. So let's go to the emission extras and not emission extras, global controls, and do some pre-run on this particle system. A few seconds worth. Let's do some flame style physics. Now, fluid works really well for this stuff, but I don't got time. I'm just going to do old school. The life of these particles is going to be, I'll say 0.3 seconds or something like that. I'm going to do a lot more of them per second. So let's say like 300 or 400 particles per second. And let's go ahead to the environment, and we'll say wind is negative I don't know. Be pretty fast. Let's say negative 1,000 to begin with. And now, let me just see what this looks like. I like trying to preview all of my stuff in like the lowest quality possible, just like these little dots like that.
No, it's a really good tip because it gives you an idea of emotion without being distracted by the rest of the stuff that can distract you. Like it lets you focus on just getting the motion right.
If only we had a view setting in particular that could give you a preview of your motion and not fully render it.
Hey, I don't want to scroll down that low in the interface.
It's down here, guys. Full render, motion preview. Blah-blah. Now it's just dots. Well, mine doesn't have any motion, but you would see dots.
Yeah, I deprived everyone of my theme song for the Physics and Cinema 4D earlier, but maybe they'll come back. We'll do an all song episode of VFX and Chill. All every sitcom in the
musical episode. Yes,
early 2010s, right?
I'm in.
Right. I don't know why I'm worrying about this tracking.
Because you care.
Because I care. You know what? Let's quickly change our rendering mode to GPU, and let's hope I'm not using up too many resources anyway. So now if I play this back, I'll get this nice dog running forward. And what's great about this is the particles are staying where they're supposed to in 3D space and kind of drifting up like that. And so I'm starting to get the gist of what like a torch might do. See how like when you throw it up and down, it's got all that kind of secondary motion to it. I'm going to make the life of these particles a teeny bit longer. Let's try 0.5. And their size over life is going to go down. And that's how they're going to disappear instead of just hard cutting out. And the reason I'm not using opacity is because Flame doesn't do that. It doesn't get like less like opaque and then disappear. It just kind of is or is not in a way.
Correct.
So let's try this.
Another pro tip: don't make it do what it doesn't do.
Don't make it do what it doesn't.
But so many people do. So many people make things do what they don't do just because they're like, well, it fades out. It doesn't. But Seth, why are you exporting the fire after you've put it in? Someone is asking.
Don't worry about it. I was having issues getting the fire to show up in the preview or whatever, and so I was using it as a sprite, and so I was basically exporting it as a sprite and bringing it in as a sprite that can now live in my particular designer window. That's why I did what I did. And
I just thought you wanted the positive affirmation of the render done sound.
Yeah. That too. And by the way, I'm not doing anything, like I'm actually doing something different than I normally do just because I want to try some things. But if anyone is wondering why I'm doing things wrong.
Let me see if I have downloaded my dog on a log in log yet.
Nice fire flying around there, Seth.
It's weird, right? Like it's like a weird trailer thing.
Beautiful.
I feel like that would be perfect for, say, a Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, that could.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to betray everyone by from emitter I could mess with particular. I could mess with it, but I'm also instead I'm just going to go add some rough and edges to it, and not just any rough and edges, but the spiky rough and edges. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because now I can turn up said spiky rough and edges, and I'll turn up the scale of said spiky rough and edges, and yeah, I'm going to get this kind of a shape. I'm going to set a keyframe for the scale here and a keyframe for the scale way back here to be much smaller. And also for the border to be smaller. Oops, did I just move my... Oh, the log footage is larger. There we go, that's why. All right. What was I doing? I added some roughen edges, and I've got to keyframe the border width and the scale of them. So they sort of are doing what I'm hoping, which is taking these dotted particles that are very computationally easy to render and adding a bit of little detail to them. And now that I have that, as I play through, there's going to be some motion coming from my particles that look kind of flame-shaped.
That is such a good trick, Hashi. Such a good trick.
And now all we got to do is add a little offset to the turbulence here. Let's do this real quick. Let's write not much of
up.
X. Let's do minus time times like 200, so it'll drift 200 in X over to that one side, and then let's do minus time times like 800 in Y. And what that'll do is it'll move the fractal under this roughen edges. And so let me just play this back. And now,
that looks great.
At about the same speed of that, we've got this shape. And now that doesn't look like flame, you may say.
It doesn't look like flame.
It doesn't look like a real flame. It looks silly. It's goofy. But since we have our amazing friends at Action VFX, Seth, did you download a torch into our thing?
Oh, no. It's in my downloads folder. I'm sorry, but I can drop it there.
Wait, renders. Wait.
I have a sprite. There's a sprite in there.
That's the sprite?
Yeah.
Okay. So you exported this sprite. I'm just going to grab that since it's
By the way,
low weight.
The little thing that I did where I made the torch as a sprite and setting it to the velocity to from emitter motion, you immediately have Back to the Future like fire trails.
That is
very
insanity.
Cool. Now I'm excited by this. Sorry, keep going with your awesome torch.
So now I'm going to do what I would never tell anybody to do, which is
we have 45 seconds left.
45 seconds.
And then everyone stops watching.
They do. You lose you forever. All right. So here's what an amateur might do. They would take this 3D. They would take a cool asset from Action VFX and parent it to this thing, but the problem is exactly what Michael was saying. Like, this isn't what fire does. That's not how it works. And so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to scale this up so it's too big for its britches here. And then I'm going to use my particular layer. I'm going to put it right above it. And now I'm going to say, use that as an alpha mat, dude. And now that shape that we just created with roughen edges and everything is now a reveal mat for this moving piece of footage of fire. So what should happen is this fire element is real photographic fire, but it is only being rendered where the physics of the particular particles would have allowed it to exist. So it is roughly the right scale, but the physics are influenced by that particle system.
Such a good trick, Hashi.
It's a cool way to like repurpose a stock element like this. Now, not perfect, but you get the idea. And I'm sure that I have other exciting fires around that would work just as good for that. But I know that we should probably wrap things up.
Man.
How are you feeling, Seth? Are you going to get anywhere over there?
I don't know.
He's just going back to the future.
I've got a fun thing. I've got a fun little trick that I've never done before by making this torch with emitter speed, having this thing like, I don't know. I'm trying to see what I can make with it. Anyway,
this could be a future tutorial.
Well, it'll be on the show at some point, but join us at some point when we do Forrest Gump one week and make my flailing body replace the feather. My Flailing Body is also the name of my autobiography that you can pick up at Amazon right now. Actually, don't search that. I haven't searched it yet, but
yeah, don't go to Amazon. Go to a local
bookstore.
Local bookstore. And buy My Flailing Body, the Seth Worley story, by Daniel Hashimoto. Inexplicably, he wrote it. Thank all of you for joining us on the show. What do we say at the end of our show?
At the end of our show, we say VFX are awesome, and you should do them after learning them from us. No, Seth,
that's exactly what we say.
This setup was amazing. You did some tremendous work, and
you did too. This was a
hate
fun
your
one.
good cinematic eye and what cool shots you can create with very few layers.
I hate your genius brain and the amazing crap you can create. And that's what Seth and Hashi hate about each other. Tell us what you hate about us in the comments below. And
absolutely, Michael will at our 360 reviews internally at the company. Like he's got an outlet for that.
Yeah, he does.
And but thank you, Michael, for bringing your expertise and your
motorcycle,
your mobile home, as it were, on the road on the motorcycle. Everybody, it's been fun. Please join us next week for. Have we decided yet if we're gonna do the, what is it called? The Project Adam? The Adam.
Oh yeah, why not? Next week. Let's just say it now.
We should do the Adam Project next week.
The Adam Project or Project Adam, the trailer, it's out there. It's really cool. And there's a lot of effects in it that we've literally done on this show. So we thought we might just redo them in the context of the Adam Project Adam. Guys, thank you so much.
Adam ruins everything.
Adam ruins everything. Thank you so much for joining us. Please have a really safe and good week. And we will see you next week on VFX.
Look, Ma, no hands.
No hands. Quick left turn. Here we go. Whoa!